A man was confined to his bed, in a way bedridden. Priest came to him, and after his visit he said, "Can I pray for you?" And the man in the bed said, "Well, I can pray for myself. Why can't you do one thing? Can you remove the garbage from my room and maybe do a little bit of laundering for my clothes? Laundering is enough, and I'm sure that will be a great help for me." Christians, we are advised that we should be audiovisual aids designed to be a help for others so that people will know how to live. In other words, my dear brothers and sisters, our lives should suggest that we are already in heaven. Why? Because by our visually manifesting the reality of God in and through our lives, we should in a way suggest that we are already living in heaven. We have to be angels to each other. And that is why I think today's parable is very, very important for us, even though it is one of those shortest parables in Matthew's Gospel. But interestingly, this short parable is in a way a melancholy of the three parables. After this, another two parables are there. All these three parables are in a way a melancholy of parables. And this shortest one is a very interesting one because Jesus Christ was almost finishing his ministry on earth, and he was heading to Jerusalem. And just last few hours left for his death, he had this in the mind. From the shoulder of his life, he had to speak such words. Maybe it should be sounding harsh. And therefore, he tells us today about this parable. Today, the 4 verses of today's parable can be called as better of 2 bad sons. Better of 2 bad sons. The meaning is very clear that the first son comes and says, "No, I won't do it." But later on, he realizes and knows that his father wants some work to be done, and therefore he goes and does what his father wanted. This is like what Jesus says in today's parable. The tax collector, prostitutes, those who realize. In a way, if you go to the Nazarene, you will definitely change. And that is what we look at this first son. Realizing, yes, I think I have the capacity, I'm capable of. Then even though he said no, that no became yes. Whereas the second son who said, yes, I will do, don't worry. But he did not do. I'm sure you will find that this stands in for all the religious and religious authorities who use lot of words but not their deeds. And therefore it is important for each one of us to know that the first one said the wrong thing but did the right thing. The second son said the right thing and did the wrong thing. In other words, the underlying point that Jesus wants to tell is the first son repented, realized, recognized, found something and did what this master wanted. That is the reason why, my dear brothers and sisters, in our baptism we have said yes. And every time when you come for a Mass, you are saying that yes. Every time you come for a Mass, you are saying that yes. In other words, yes to the communion with God, yes to the communion with the people of God. Therefore you find that yes more meaningful. It is only by our actions that we can really show that we are genuinely followers of Christ. Only through our actions, my dear brothers and sisters. That is necessary because what are words? A crusty farmer said, words aren't worth a barrel of spit. And true indeed, my dear brothers and sisters, what do we do when we take our newspaper? I love to go straight to the sports paper. Why? Because in the sports paper, we get some results. That these guys did something, they brought laurels to their country for themselves, and therefore they are men of action, women of action. Whereas the other pages are like all the politicians making all false promises. And that is the reason why we need also this part, that the new life, my life is action. If you follow Jesus Christ, it is not enough just memorizing your catechism prayers or the 10 commandments, but it is important for you to know that your actions should speak. Mouth can never be a substitute, my dear brothers and sisters, for your performances. Your mouth cannot be your substitute for all your performance or for all your actions. Remember this always, because we use our mouth left and right. But remember, that cannot be a substitute for your actions in your life. That is the reason why we see how we learn to become messengers by our action. My life, Gandhiji says, is the message. My life, he says, is the message. And our life should be the message. In other words, we see very clearly one great aspect that Jesus wants you to learn, at least from Gandhiji, by saying, my life is my message. Today, if our lives fit our mouths, Christ is the winner. Remember this always. If our lives fit our mouths, then automatically Christ is the winner of our lives. And that is the reason why the monks always say, deeds and words can only speak one language. Deeds and words should, in our lives, speak that one language. Therefore, the heads of states, when they go for their canvassing, they can't go to different places. They can't go to all the places. So what they do is they send a huge life-size picture to that place where they cannot go, and the one who is asked to read the speech will do the reading. Well, my dear friends, that is also important. Why? Because Jesus wants you to be an ambassador. Jesus wants you to be that picture, so that he does the talking. He does it. That is the reason why he wants you to be that picture, just like how the heads of the states do. In other words, I have to be an ambassador for Christ. That is the reason why a preacher in the congregation said, when people get to know you, they have to get to know Christ. It's not important that they have to get to know me more and more, but in and through my actions, they have to come to know Jesus more and more. That is the reason why we see one of those great winners, the book award novelist Walker Percy, who said, well, I have become a Catholic because my college roommate, I looked at him every day morning getting up, going for daily mass. And what makes him get up early in the morning and go for mass? His actions spoke so much. And that is the reason why I have become a Catholic, for he set that example for me. Therefore, we also see what Shakespeare says. The spark of light that comes out from the candle throws those beams of light. But look at that. That actions of ours, even though they do not speak, can reach out to this evil world. That is the reason why, my dear friends, when you are trying to be an example, when you are trying to set an example, don't be worried who's going to see me, who's not going to see me. Is somebody seeing me? I'm going to set an example. That is useless. Unconsciously remember that you have to set an example. Don't be conscious when you are setting an example. This is what this first son did. He said no. But what did he do? He made that no into yes. Therefore, the line that we learn from today's gospel reading is, I cannot hear you, but I can feel and see your actions. You may hear me, you may feel happy about my words, but my actions should speak greater, better, and meaningful. Neither of the parable's sons were good fellows. They were not satisfactory. Both of them hurt their father. But the one who said no and did it was the better one. So Jesus wants a better person from you. He doesn't expect you to be the perfect one. He doesn't expect you to be the actual one. He wants you to be a better person. And that is what we are supposed to be. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, remember what the teacher shoots at is to follow. Follow by saying, yes, Lord. But with that, yes, Lord, it's not over. From that day, every time, remember, if you have said yes, try on it, put it on the fast track, put it on the fast lane, and see whether you are able to deliver for Christ. Because He is going to look at us whether we are able to deliver His life in and through our life. That is the reason why Christ, it is said, is not a psychiatrist at all. Christ is not a psychiatrist at all. In a way, He is a cardiologist, because He doesn't listen to your words. He listens to your heart. A lighthouse doesn't speak, but it does a wonderful job. This is the reason why, my dear brothers and sisters, we need to be that sermon in our lives. Therefore, you are a sermon in shoes. Amen. Let us all stand for the creed.